How are you doing? Oh my goodness, you all look so beautiful in here. I'm gonna take this, put this right here. Oh, this is comfortable. I have not sat in these seats. Okay, I feel like I'm sitting on a cloud. I like that. Welcome to How to Tell Your HS Story. Thank you all so much for joining this session. I'm excited because these three content creators are powerhouses in their own right on social media, spreading awareness about HS. I have witnessed their journeys for a while now. Jeremy I've known for a few years. We did a Shine a Light on HS campaign together with Novartis. Imani, I've been watching her beautiful soul shine on TikTok for a very long time. I think that was like towards the beginning of the pandemic. And Cassandra is new to the space, but is shining so bright and bringing awareness to the younger generation who has HS. So I'm really grateful to have each of you on this panel. So I want to start out by having you introduce yourselves so that everyone else can get to know who you are, why you are doing the work that you're doing, and then we'll get into your story after that.
Hi, my name is Cassandra Stand. I'm 18 years old, about to be 19, and I'm from the Bronx in New York City. I'm a city girl. And I don't know, maybe a fun fact about me or something. I really like to sing. So if you've ever heard me sing, I did so in DC, might do some today, but that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yes, give a hand clap. Yes, our singer-songwriter over here.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl Ma, but my name is Imani Futrell. I've had HS for about 10 plus years, and I love creating content. I love HS advocacy and just being a part of the community. And look at everybody up in here. Hey, y'all. Hey, to the virtual people online. Hey, y'all. So excited to be here and to talk more about just HS journeys and content creating and where we're at now. So I'm really excited to be here. Hi, y'all. Hey.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jeremy Hinskton. I've had HS for maybe a little over 10 years, and I became an advocate because of seeing how many people just weren't getting the kind of help that they needed, and there are a lot of people that don't really speak up for themselves, and I wanted to be a voice because I don't have a problem speaking. I mean, I'm sure if any of you know me, I'm running my mouth, so I'm just trying to stand up and be there for everybody that doesn't really feel comfortable speaking about these things.
Yes, give a hand clap. So we're diving into, I think, a very robust topic because I feel like telling your HS story, we could come at this from so many different sides and lenses because it's complex, right? But I want to start off by talking a bit about how you all started telling your HS story and what motivated you. What was that thing that allowed you to go from the dark to the light in the sense of going from a place of not speaking out to speaking out in such a public way? Social media is broadcast to the world, so you're opening yourself up to everyone, negative, positive, anything else in between, so that can be scary. But I want you to talk a little bit about that and your journeys.
All right, so when I was still in high school, which I guess actually was last year. So when I was graduating high school, I was doing a senior project with my dermatologist, who I'd been seeing for about 6 years at that point. And I shadowed her HS clinic. It was the only one in the Bronx where people could get care. And I happened to live 10 minutes away, which was really lucky. So I went and shadowed her. I saw what she did in the clinic, and I talked to the patients, and they were like, oh my gosh, another person with my condition. And then at the end, the Montefiore, I'm gonna shout them out, Montefiore administration basically decided to cut her paycheck and make her work even more hours, but she has a family, she can't do that. So that's how we lost the last HS clinic in the Bronx. So now people have to travel to Manhattan or further. Now she's in Tarrytown, which is in Westchester County. And that really affected me and a lot of other people. So I realized that I had to speak out about HS, no matter how I did it. And then when I was searching, because HS Connect is the organization I'm affiliated with, and they were the first resource I saw, but seeing that there was so much out there for now adults with HS, it made me really happy. And then I was like, but what about for teens? So then I decided, you know what? Maybe I'll be that person. I'll be the person to start making content for teenagers. And so last year, around literally this time, I decided to start posting my first videos.
Love that. Yes.
I'm gonna be for real with y'all. I was just chilling in my room one day, and I remember it so clearly because I love TikTok, and I like, doing the little dances and all that jazz and everything. I'm not a good dancer, but I tried. And I just remember one day I was like, what if I just started posting about it? I was like, what can go wrong? Like, let me just go ahead and post. So I remember just holding my arm up, and I remember doing it to a song. I can't remember what it was, but I remember just pointing to my HS, and I left it up there, and I closed the app. I probably went to go get a cheeseburger or something like that. Probably went to go run some errands. Probably go outside for a couple seconds, and then I came back, and I was like, okay, time for me to scroll on TikTok. I come back, ping, ping, ping. I'm like, what's going on? And I see all these notifications of like, oh my gosh, I have this. Oh my gosh, you have HS too? Oh my goodness, oh my god. And I'm like, well, where was y'all? Wait, there's a whole community here? I was like, whoa. So in that moment, I knew, I was like, this is something that needs to be talked about. So I remember just looking up, and I was like, God, it's me again. I'm here. If this is what you want me to do, I'm gonna do it. What's today? June 8th, 2025. HS advocate, speaking about it, proud, advocating, and just bringing more awareness to it. Being here in a room with so many great people, supporters, caregivers, family members, and such amazing HS warriors. So I do it because representation, and I want people to know that they're not alone in their journey. So we out here doing it. You already know.
Okay, period.
So for me, when I started to become an advocate, I had already had HS for a few years, but it wasn't terribly bad. It was manageable. And my tiny ninja down here, my wife, her and I became travel YouTubers, and we sold almost all of our belongings to travel the world and do YouTube videos. And a week later, COVID hit. So that wasn't a great time to do that, but we still managed to get out. But I was on Humira at that time, and I was reading up on, can I get Humira in the countries we're going to? We had 3 months to spend in Mexico, 3 months to spend in Brazil. According to Google, I could get Humira down there. So I'm like, okay, I take my 1 month with me. After that month supply is over, guess what I can't get in Mexico? Humira. So we go to Brazil, thinking that I can get Humira in Brazil. Can't get it in Brazil. So a month and a half into that began my about a year journey of being bedridden. So the last month and a half in Brazil, I was on the couch the entire time, couldn't move. They had to wheel me around the Rio de Janeiro airport in a wheelchair, my first time ever being in a wheelchair, and I had to sit all crooked. And then we got back home to Delaware at the time where we were living, and the next 7-8 months, I couldn't move. My wife had to help me cut my food. I couldn't do this at all. So after that, because I'm such a free spirit and spontaneous, I'm into so many different things. I'm a photographer, I'm a musician, I was in a band, I'm a videographer, all this stuff, audio engineer. And when this happened, I couldn't do anything. I lost myself completely. Couldn't lift my camera up, couldn't play guitar. And so finally, I went from 250 pounds to 167. And finally, after physical therapy, I started to get up and walk again. We started to go out on some road trips and travel again. And that's when I realized that I want to inspire people, because so many people lose themselves and they don't regain themselves, or they don't know how to regain themselves. And so we wanted to inspire people because I needed to regain myself. I wanted to show everybody else that they can get their stuff. They can reclaim their self back. So we started Warrior Stories, and wherever we would go around the world, we would try and find a warrior to interview. We've done it in Switzerland, Mexico, Italy, Seattle, all over the place. And that showed that so many people need to have their voice heard. And that was inspiration for me to keep that going and to let people realize that HS doesn't define them. Their passions do. And so what we would focus on was, yes, tell your story. How did you get HS? Or, how did you manage it? What are your treatments? But then focus on, what do you love to do? Let's shoot you doing what you love: cooking, playing guitar, roller skating, whatever. And that started to really inspire people. When you don't feel like you can get up and be yourself, that shows you that, hey, this person has HS. Let me try and get up and do what I love. I can't let myself lose myself. So that's how I started in the advocacy world.
Yes. Each and every one of your stories is very unique. And I think when we approach telling our story, we think it's extremely complex, because it is, because we're reliving a lot of trauma. And it's like, where do you hone in, and where do you pull from in your story to really start? Because we've all been through a lot with this condition. So I want to ask you that question. Where did you start? How did you pinpoint where in your journey to start talking about what you went through, and really start advocating?
Well, I kind of always had the fear of being left out of things. And so, FOMO is really big for me. And, one of the examples is something as simple as when people are like, let's go out for pizza. And then I'm like, I can't do that. Which, okay, I know it's kind of minuscule, on all the things that can be with HS, but it's oftentimes there's so many things dealing with chronic illnesses like HS that can make you feel otherized, if that's a word. But I think it was that feeling that really inspired me to share my story, because I remember there'd be things, my friends were always very kind to me. I was very lucky to have good friends, but, sports. My school required at least 3 seasons of sports, and I couldn't really do that. Or sometimes when I'm trying to walk and keep up with people, I'm like, I can't really do that. And I got really tired of constantly explaining myself, because people would be like, so you just have a gluten allergy, right? And I was like, no. And then I'd say, I have hidradenitis suppurativa, and they'd say, hidradenitis of what now? And I'd say no. So I guess it's really born out of wanting to let people know that, yeah, we might be a little bit different because of the condition we have, but we're not alone. There's a community out there. And I think that's really my primary motivation, especially for young people that are still in school, where, identity means so much right now too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Imani?
I think at first, because I feel like it was a mixture of both, of my community and my 11-year-old self. She probably think I'm a superstar right now. You already know, because it's and I remember I got a comment from somebody, and they were like, oh my goodness, you're a superhero. And I'm sitting there thinking in the back of my head, I said, I didn't even shout where I was out from. I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, just to put that out there. But I'm just a little girl from New Haven, Connecticut. Me, a superhero? So I think a reason why I started talking about it was because of, I wanted to heal in here. And I wanted to, once I healed myself, still continuing, but the journey is so beautiful, and to be able to inspire others to continue that journey, it's just it keeps growing. And I think that's what makes me want to keep creating content. It's just to see people grow within their own journeys and their own like life. It's very beautiful to see. So I think it's a part of me that wants to heal that 11-year-old girl who was like, you know, because you would think I would just be dealing with wanting to go watch, you know, TV or something like that, but I'm dealing with, you know, flares on my groin area, and you know, I wanted to shave. I wanted to be normal. Flares in my my armpits. I wanted to be like the other girls and be like, yeah, I can show my armpits and blah blah blah. But like, I always had, you know, hair. I was always like insecure about it. But then it got to a point of where I was like, I'm me. I love myself. My community supports me. They love me. I love them back. Like, it's so much love and positivity. So I think that's the thing that really kept me going. It's just community and healing within, definitely.
Yeah, it sounds very intuitive, both of your journeys, you know, to telling your story and just really seeking healing. And sometimes that is the catalyst, you know, for being able to speak out. And then also being sick and tired, you know, of hiding and feeling ashamed. Is that also an aspect of why you kind of started speaking out, is not wanting to feel that shame anymore? Or did you feel shame about living with HS at all?
Not really. I mean, I felt more shame when I couldn't get a proper diagnosis because I was originally misdiagnosed with herpes. So, and I came from kind of a weird foster care situation. So I believed it, and there was a lot of stigma that I held from, you know, being so young and having an STD when I'd have to explain that to the doctors. And that's when I felt the most shame. But when I first got my HS diagnosis, I felt, horribly terrified, but free. Like, I knew what I had. I didn't have to wake up screaming again in the middle of the night to go get Lance, and people are like, yeah, you're just gonna have to keep coming in. Like, I actually knew something.
I totally agree. Like, again, when they diagnosed me, I was like, pardon? Like, hydronight, like, HS. I was like, okay, I get it. But like, hearing that diagnosis, because I got diagnosed in 2015, but I didn't care for it. I was like, I'm good. I was like, this isn't gonna affect me. Like, I'm fine. But it got to a point in 2017 where I started seeing my dermatologist and speaking with her and really tapping in more into this condition. I was like, oh my goodness, like, again, this is what I have. I know what I have, and how can we handle it? How can we manage it the best way possible? So when I got my diagnosis, I was like, okay, like, what you want me to do with that? I ain't got nothing to do with that. But like, throughout those years, now knowing like what it is and just everything behind it, like, it empowers me more to like speak about it and to raise more awareness for it.
You know, I think for me, it's a little bit different. I never really cared about what a lot of people thought. So the embarrassment and that stigma was not something I ever battled with, because I don't care. I mean, I think if anything, I'm more worried about how I don't have this beautiful head of dreads anymore. I got this bald ass head now. That's more, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but something that I don't like more than the flares, you know? So when I see everybody, it was the forums like Facebook and all the social media. That's the stuff that made me want to do it more, because I saw how many people were just miserable and couldn't talk, couldn't say anything, or were too afraid to say something. And also for the men, knowing that we're like very much less compared to women, you know, who are affected with this. So it was like, look, for one, I don't care what people think about me. I don't have a problem talking about what I go through, especially if it's going to help people. So I think that looking at the forums and, you know, the Facebook groups, all that stuff, that really got me thinking, like, somebody needs to step up. And this was 4 or 5 years ago. So it's awesome now with so many people doing it now. It wasn't like that back then. So that's what got me going. And there was a point where I had to turn that stuff off because it was so overwhelmingly negative. And when I was bedridden for so long, I would read one person's story and instantly bawl, because it's like, that's me. So I had to turn all that stuff off, but still had that in my mind, like, these people, every time I look, they're miserable and no one's helping. Not enough people are helping. So that was the pinpoint where I was like, I got to do something.
I kind of want to talk about like the content creation aspect of things because there may be people who want to start telling their story on social media. How do you even approach something like that? Because it can be intimidating. And then, you know, we kind of talked about where do you even start, but for content creation, not just your story, where do you start? Because it's like, okay, there's so many platforms, there's so many ways that you can tell your story, so many items you can use, so many tools. How did you kind of like decide what tools, what mediums, what branding, what kind of like voice you wanted to have on social media? Because I think that can not cloud people's like ability to approach, you know, content creation, but it can be a wall, you know, because it's just like, it's a lot that goes into it, you know?
Okay, so I'm going to tackle this in 2 parts. Part 1, in order to help other people, you have to know yourself first. And so I'd say I had a really toxic relationship with social media at first when I was 13, and I ended up doing like 5 years of a forced detox by my parents, which I was pissed then, but honestly like saved me. So first I was coming from it from a clean slate. I was like, okay, I'm not addicted to anything. I'm not addicted to the social media. I don't know like what to do yet. So blank slate, you start there. Then, or not, like you don't really have to, but like ideally. Then like in knowing yourself, why are you doing it? Like kind of telling yourself, what am I doing? What is the specific thing about HS that I want to do? This could be either just telling your story like lifestyle, which is like Socially Sid, she does that really well. She's a lifestyle person. Or you could be specifically showing your flares and talking about HS. For me, I get nervous talking about kind of the intimacies of my life, so I more talk about like, particularly my HS. And also I would say, think of like a niche. What is something unique that you can share? And like your story already is one thing, that's already one thing, but what's the special sauce that you have, basically? And so for me, my like special sauce was that I wanted to make content specifically for teens and young people. That was kind of like the thing. Because when you have, like, the more, contrary to popular belief, the more specific you can be, the better it will be. Because then it's hard to, like, target a gigantic audience. Like, some people can, but it's really difficult. So I'd say, like, if you find that niche, start there. Then on the second part, deciding what you're gonna do, well, once you've figured out your niche, like what you're bringing to the table, why you wanna do it, and you're like, I'm ready, then you gotta figure out, okay, what's the best platform? But that depends on your target audience. So I know I sound like a business coach right now, I'm just like, but my target audience, since that was teens and young people, I was like, okay, what do I know that they're using? Instagram, TikTok. I was like, unfortunately, we're not using Facebook. As much as I'd like that to be sure, I don't know how to use Facebook very well either. But, so I didn't really have a lot of experience with TikTok, so I started off with Instagram, and now I'm kind of like branching out. But that's kind of what I'd say, like start from knowing yourself, and then to what would be the best thing for your audience.
I would say I definitely, number one, to get started in this, you go at your own pace. You don't rush. You don't be on anybody's time. Like, whenever you want to post, you post. That's number one. Number two, I was posting about my surgery. So it started off with me just posting my arm, and I was like, okay, we lit. Like, shout out to the HS community. And then it kind of, because I was getting a surgery during that time, so I was like, oh, I could just post about my surgery. And I feel like it kind of gradually like went into different things, because I went into talking about my surgery. The surgery happened. Okay, I went into talking about my recovery process. Okay, I recovered. Then I kind of started going, like just talking about my day. Like sometimes I would just sit the camera down and it would be like a video diary almost, and I just would just talk. Like I would just get my feelings out and just speak into the camera. So I think that's a really good thing to do as well, like propping your camera up or propping your phone up and just talking into the camera, journaling things down and like getting ideas. I find that my creativity definitely comes from when I'm just sitting at the kitchen table, or I could be in my car. I remember doing videos in my car too, and I was just like, yeah, like my pad done fell off on the floor again. And you know, it's just things like that, that kind of inspired me. I'm like, okay, maybe I can teach people how to put their padding on. Oh, or maybe I can teach them how to do you know, it's that creativity that comes in like the different things that we experience. So definitely go at your own time. Your journey is your journey. It's not gonna look like anyone else's, and that's the beauty of it. Like, it's gonna look so different, and it's gonna be yours. And I think another thing is to explore. There are so many things that people talk about regarding HS with you know, teens, HS with men, with women, black women. Like, you know, it's so much more of different niches and, you know, sections of where you can talk about HS, because there's so much more behind HS than just what we have. Like, it's so much more. It's like a broader thing. But I would definitely say your creativity is definitely there. And I just say prop the camera up, talk to other. I find talking to other people like generates ideas as well. Yeah, I think a lot of my inspiration comes from my community, and to keep me going, and just the positivity, because now I'm kind of in that realm of just like speaking positivity and kindness over my body and giving myself grace. So it was a big inspiration from the community, and I'm kind of curious to see what comes next, because I know there's so much more, and I know there's so much more to my HS than just my HS, because I'm a sister, I'm a granddaughter, I'm a supervisor, I'm a mentor. So there's things that I want to dive deep into more of that. So I think I just get really excited knowing the future and what more content I can create. So always go at your own journey. Just know there is a story, and whenever you're ready to tell it, that's when you tell it.
You know, all I can do is reiterate what these amazing ladies just said. Really, the point, what I get, if you wanted to boil it down to just a little phrase, is be you. That's pretty much it. That's how you really get into it. You're not going to inspire the world by trying to be like it. You're going to inspire the world by being yourself, you know? And if we were all the same, doing the same things, it would be pretty boring. So you got to just be you. Like, you know, she's singing, she's doing her thing, dancing in the mirror, you know, dancing in the camera and stuff. My thing, since I'm a photographer and audio engineer and videographer, it's like, okay, let's go shoot other people doing it, not myself, you know? And that's where that came from. That's my skill set, is shooting people and getting angles and making things look good, making whoever I'm working with look really good. That's my uniqueness. And I love that everybody has their uniqueness, like the homie Parrish, you know, he's up there rapping. Like, you don't see anybody else. Now Cassandra's singing about stuff. You don't see that a lot, you know? Parrish is real. He's out there rapping real stuff. And it's just awesome. There's so many people being unique. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to just be yourself. Don't care what people think, because what people think really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. What you think matters. And, you know, like Imani was saying about post at your own time, you know, your own schedule. Burnout is real. You know, my ninja and I, we've done so many videos, travel vlogs, HS, all kinds of stuff. And we get to the point where we can't, you know, for like a couple weeks, we can't do it. We got to stop. We don't care. We used to post a video on YouTube every single day for a year and a half, and sometimes 3 videos. That's a lot. And I mean, I'm talking like 15-minute long videos. That's a lot to not miss a day. And we were so burnt out. And once we scaled it back and started doing just what we wanted to do, we were so much happier and felt so much better. So just do you. That's the only thing that I can really say that matters.
I think it's interesting that you're taking the approach of telling other people's stories, because I think that sometimes when we think about how to tell your own HS story, we're thinking about approaching it from a content creation aspect, when in all honesty, you can really do so many things. Suzanne is one of, I feel like, a great example of that. She doesn't necessarily, she tells her story, but she created a whole company because she saw a gap in the HS community. And so that is telling your story, you know? When you notice that there is something missing and you're like, okay, let me be the person that fills that gap. You know, it doesn't always have to be in such a public way. You can create something that is a reflection of your experience, you know? Did you want to say something about that?
And I was like, that's why it's so cool. That's why I was like, kind of find your niche, because if you want to be like, I'm a mom with HS, you know, we got Kara who does a lot of stuff with HS. You could do something like that. If you're a dad with HS, aunt with HS, you could be like, oh, I live in the city and I have HS. I live in the country and I have HS. I live in the suburbs and I have HS. And there's so many different niches. You just got to get creative with it, because I can tell you for certain there is definitely one thing. And just because like somebody else has done it before, it doesn't matter. Like, you have your own special like sparkles that you can add into it. But like, I guarantee there is one thing that can really just sell it.
I like that you mentioned that, because like when you go into the grocery store, you see so many brands of bread, but they don't go and say, oh, I'm not going to make bread because there's so many other people who are making bread. Like, you know, there's some companies that we know better than others, but, you know, we all know that we like our certain breads, right? So it's the same thing with telling your story and content creation. You know, some people will have more audiences than others, and some people will do this, that, and the third, but everyone's voice is important to moving the needle forward. So it doesn't matter how many likes you get, it doesn't matter how many views, it doesn't matter how many trips you go on. You telling your story and speaking up is the point. You know, you finding your freedom and your voice is the point. And that is what anyone should do if they want to do that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you were going to say something about that.
You know, I just was kind of just saying the same things, basically. Like, you just got to keep doing you. Content, when you say content creation and like influencers and stuff like that, most people think of seeing the same person all the time. And that's not how I work, you know? So my content creation isn't anything like theirs, and theirs isn't anything like theirs or theirs or theirs. And that's what's great. You know, I don't look at it like content creation for us or for Warrior Stories, but it is. You know, I don't really think of it like that. So just do you. That's it.
Yeah. I want to ask you all for a last piece of advice that you have for anyone who is trying to approach telling their story. One thing that really stands out that helped you in your journey to really finding your voice and honing in and having the confidence and the boldness to step forward.
So this is something I say a lot whenever someone asks this question. It doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you are on your HS journey. Your voice is valuable. And I would not be sitting here saying that if it wasn't for the kindness of so many people that like have helped me get to this point and have trusted that I know what I'm talking about and I'm not crazy, and that like have respected me enough to listen to my story. And so, again, this is, like, I've only been doing this for, like, 1 year. I posted a year ago, like, right now. So that's not a lot of time, which is saying that, hey, speaking up, it makes wonders. It causes change. And so if you feel in your heart that that's something that you want to do it.
Yes, love that.
That was well said. You did such a good job.
Thank you.
Definitely give yourself grace. Time is very, I think like, it's just like, oh my goodness, like, I feel like I have to do this now. I feel like I never really make time for myself. And I feel like sometimes I have to take a step back and just be like, okay, how am I feeling, channeling my emotions and just who I am as a person. And I think diving deep into it, like self-love, like knowing that this is a journey of where if you go into content creation or just telling people your story or just being a part of, you know, organizations like OSIT or HS Connect, you know, just being a part of it counts. And again, your story matters, you matter, you are important, you are valued, and you are loved. So I think a really big thing for what I would want to tell you guys is to give yourself grace. Always celebrate the small accomplishments, celebrate the big accomplishments, the medium accomplishments, like everything counts because your journey is blossoming and it's gonna grow into something so much more beautiful. And you're inspiring others. Everyone in this room, everybody online, everybody up here, we're creating change, and it's just gonna get bigger from here. I can't wait to see in 2060, like we about to be lit up in there. Like it's I can't wait because of just us being here right now. We're a part of something so much bigger than HS. We're creating community, and we're creating a bigger voice and creating, you know, a safe space for so many people. So definitely in this journey, make sure you give yourself grace and make sure you're proud of the things that you do. Whatever content you decide to put out, be proud of it because it's you.
Yes, I love that.
Just to touch on that, you have to do what you love. If you're not having joy in what you're doing and you're just fighting an uphill battle because Sid has 1 million followers and you're seeing her do it, so you want to do it, I don't know that you're going to go that far. You might, but do what you want to do. And the other thing is, don't compare yourself to others because she's got 1 million people and you're like, why don't I? I'm doing something else. Don't do that because that's going to just bring you right down. Do what you love to do. And if you're doing something that is bringing you joy, then nothing else matters. You're bringing yourself joy. You're helping out other people, even if it's 20 people or 15,000 or 1 million. Do what you love. Life is too short to not do what you love and to just try and copy somebody else because they're successful. If you're in this to make money or to just be popular, wrong reasons. And you're not going to go far like that. So that's what I love about them, doing what they love to do, and it's being unique. That's what I'd say is find the joy that you have and start there.
Yes, find the joy, be brave. You know, I love that. Give a hand clap for these amazing panelists. Yes. Once again, I'm so grateful to have each one of you on this stage. I want to open it up to the audience to ask any questions that you all might have for these individuals so that they can answer some questions. Christina.
So one thing that I think really helps with, especially in the current internet climate and growth, is quality content.
Hold on one second. Can we get a mic for Christina, please? We should get a mic.
I can project already. I was gonna say, Imani's content quality is amazing, and I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with. Personally, myself, and I think that if you could share a little bit of like your setup,
Yeah,
would be awesome.
I got you. Don't go out buying these big old giant $3,000 cameras. You can literally, like how I record my videos, iPhone 14 Pro. That's it. Back camera. You could do it with the front camera, but you know, the back camera has a little, you know, to it. So I definitely would say start. You don't have to start big. You don't have to get like big production stuff and everything. Like all it starts with your phone. I love a good light. Shout out to the stage because this lighting looks really good up here. But I have like a little box light, and you don't even need like a little box light like that. You can just genuinely get like a little one of those clip-on lights, and it genuinely boom right there. It's it's powerful. Like sometimes I gotta wear sunglasses when I got that on because I'm like, woo, it's a little boom.
It's very bright.
Who got my sunglasses? Because I was like, yeah, like literally that will do it. Just like having your phone and just having the little light up there is fine. You can go into getting like, you know, big cameras like in the near and dear future, but it don't take much to start like with that. Just get your phone out and just record. But thank you, because I do. And yes, I love the back camera. Oh, what do I edit on? CapCut. I'm a CapCut girly. You already know.
Yeah,
like,
shout out to CapCut.
I got the subscription forever. I think it's for a year though, so I'll probably have to renew it eventually. But yeah, I edit with CapCut. Sometimes I'll go into TikTok and do it. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. But I'm usually a CapCut girly. So if you want to get into editing, CapCut, camera quality, back camera of like your phone, and just like a little light. Or sunlight, even going outside, because I love a good golden hour. It's so beautiful, just going outside. So yeah, that's what I would definitely recommend. Good
Can I touch on that real quick also? Because I'm a professional photographer. So lighting is the number one thing in photography. Like people think camera and all this stuff, light. You have to work with light. But also audio. If you can get yourself like a little DJI mic or something, they're cheap. You don't need anything big, but good audio and light is gonna work wonders.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, very good. And it's what you do with the tool. It's not necessarily the tool, because some people use, like you said, the iPhone. I've seen filmmakers make full films on iPhones, and then you have Marvel, who only God knows how much they spend on those cameras. So it doesn't really matter what tool you use the tool.
You see my tiny ninja right there. A lot of stuff that we film on is that little DJI Osmo. That's
Yes.
cheaper than an iPhone, and the quality is phenomenal. And it's a built-in gimbal, so if you're walking, you don't get the shaky footage if you're using a phone, if you were using a phone. That thing is great and cheaper than a phone too.
Yeah, the creator kit I think is 600. I've heard that it's gone up, but I think it's like 7, 8 or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Well,
It's really
gone up
worth
to
it.
$700. If you have an extra 7 laying around, you can get it.
But you don't need it. You don't need it as much as you might want it.
Exactly.
You don't need
Start
it.
with the phone. Start with the phone.
Start with the phone. There we go. Any other questions? Yes.
I know you mentioned, go at your own pace, and there's not like a deadline or anything, but, is there like a certain time frame that you all try to post or like stay connected on social media?
Yes, there is something to that, and there was a lot of times where I'd be Googling when's the best time to post this on Instagram or whatever, and you'll get like a little calendar and it'll show you, okay, between 10 and whatever. There is something to that, and as well as with algorithms, so yes, there is, but you still got to go at your own pace, you know what I mean? Like, you will burn yourself out if you're like, I'm seeing this person all the time, I need to do that. It's not a recipe for success.
I had a lot of burnout. I took like 2 weeks off at one time, but I was on vacation, so it was nice. But I was like, nah, I can't do this. 'Cause I am like a schedule girly. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm like, okay, this needs to be up. But after being, literally, probably yesterday, I'm just gonna start posting just whenever I wanna post. If I feel like posting at 12 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna post at 12 a.m. in the morning. Y'all gonna see it when you wake up. So I'm just like, I feel like that algorithm does play a big part of it. But again, just telling your story, even if one person sees it, even if 20 people see it, can you imagine being in a room with 20 people? And a couple people be like, oh my God, like I was really inspired by that. Like, you can genuinely do so much with just that. And just imagine how much it can grow if you just keep going and keep going. So it doesn't matter when you post. If you want to go on Google and just look up the times, because I be chat GPTing. Not 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern
And-
Standard Time.
But a caveat to all that is it depends on where your audience is located, because not everybody's in the same time zone. So we, on our music channel, we do a lot of Japanese music. Sometimes, well, not a lot. Every now and then we'll do Japanese music, and we'll post that at 1 in the morning because the Japanese crowd is waking up or something like that. So 1 in the morning for us. So once you get a following, you get these insights to see where your following is, how old they are, and that will kind of mold when you think you should post. But I still agree, just post whenever. Posting whenever is better than not, because of it's not the right time.
Yeah.
Algorithm does not work the way that it's intended. So if we already set our own schedule, everybody else that follows you, that engages with you, are literally going to be like, oh, I need to go back to this person because I know that they post at this time, this time.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you want to come up here? I mean,
Right.
she knows what's up.
Right.
It's true.
100%.
Right.
You know, the consistency of whether it's every 3 days, once a day, or every 2 days, or once every 2 weeks. It's the consistency in whichever rhythm that you set.
And then also know that the algorithm is very choosy. Like,
And it changes all the time.
it changes all the time. And sometimes, once again, going back to like the core of it, being your authentic self, like your audience will follow you wherever. So even if they see the video late, they're just like, oh, they posted a video. Oh, I haven't seen Imani for a very long time. What's she doing? And then it's just like, oh, now I see her video. Like, you know what I mean? And the algorithm brings it back, you know, because it can be choosy sometimes. And depending on what platform you're on, you know, some like TikTok, they want you to see new creators all the time. So sometimes you don't see who you want to see. On Instagram, they might show you most people that you want to see. You know what I mean? So it just depends. But an algorithm shouldn't stop you from posting your content, because sometimes lower quality stuff goes extremely viral, and sometimes high production things do no numbers. So
It's so annoying.
yeah, it's very annoying, but that's why you have to do whatever you're doing, you know what I mean, and not worry about it, honestly.
100%. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions? I think we have time for a half a question.
You all are obviously very comfortable, but what advice would you give someone who, when they get in front of a camera, so uncomfortable, and people look at you and think, ooh, she's so uncomfortable?
Well, I would say that really depends. If depends on if you still want to do it versus if you don't want to do it, because you got to know yourself first. So if you know, hey, being on camera isn't really my thing, then there's other ways to tell your story. You can write blogs. You can like tell stories, because I know you make your jewelry. You can tell stories through that. And so if being in front of a camera isn't like what you want to do, don't feel like, darn, I can't tell my story now. There's so many other like mediums that you can choose from as well. But if you do want to do it, and you get scared when you're in front of a camera, like the biggest advice I'd give is, I don't want to be like cliche and say pretend you're just speaking to a friend, because sometimes it doesn't work. I'd say the best advice I can give is to work on managing that anxiety, realize that you're worth telling your story, that being public can be really scary, and really scary because the fear that we don't know how people are going to take it. But when you think about the pros and cons, like, is the pro of me getting this information out worth my discomfort in the in this moment? Then you can make that decision and feel like, you know what, yes, I'm scared, and I'm gonna do it still. Yes, I might look uncomfortable, but the more practice I get doing it, you know, then it'll be better. So yeah, post it, and if it looks uncomfortable, it looks uncomfortable. But then now you're like, yeah, I can try again.
That's what I was gonna say. It also comes with experience. When you first start out, it feels weird. You're talking to a screen or sometimes just a lens, and it does feel weird. And I'm gonna put my tiny ninja on the spot. When we first started doing the travel channel, I'm used to being on stage from being in bands and stuff. So for me, it was easy. She's trying to script out everything and then memorize lines, and then it comes across on camera like she's trying to memorize things. And the more we did that, the less that happened, and the more she would see it and be like, I don't need to do that. I can just be me. And people would comment and be like, oh, I love her. And she's sitting there feeling like, oh, I'm terrible. Listen to the people that are telling you they love you, you know what I mean? And you just keep going. The more experience you get, the more comfort level you get. So just keep going.
I think I do a lot of takes. Y'all should see my iPhone storage, 128 gigs. I'm probably at 127 gigs right now, promise.
I never have storage.
But I do a lot of takes. Like, I never get it in one go. If I get it in one go, oh my goodness, praise the Lord. I'm like, yes. But I just keep practicing. And if I have something that I want to say, I'll just be like, blah, 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 blah. That didn't sound right. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh, I like the way that sound. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, this about to eat. I'm like, yeah. So it's kind of just like being in there and just being comfortable with yourself too. Like, I tend to speak out loud a lot because like I'm just like kind of processing my thoughts and just thinking of like, like what else can I do? So I think definitely just talking out loud, telling your thoughts out loud, and then building up to that, putting it on camera. You can even do like a voice recording, just like Cassandra said. Y'all can even do blogging. You guys can, it can even start by just telling your story to just someone, just like speaking to someone about it, just having that conversation. Yeah, because then you can start with the conversation, and then you can get into the voice recordings, and then you could do like overlays, and then you can start getting into videos. Y'all got it. I can see it. I'm ready. I'm so ready to see it. But it definitely, I never get everything in one go. It can take practice. It takes time. But once you like it and once you love it, that's how you know that it's good.
You know, one thing that helped me, my dad was a radio personality, and I used to hate the sound of my voice so much. But I used to watch him basically copy the radio, like whoever was speaking on the radio, he would repeat what they were saying, and he would practice that way. Like, and I just was like, that's so unique. And I was just like, you know, because I observe everything. And so I started doing that, and I was just like, I started feeling more and more comfortable with hearing my voice and just like practicing, just like speaking, you know what I mean? Because it's like, sometimes you have to get used to the sound of your voice. Because like when you hear it back, you're just like, ugh. Like, you know, but it's like when you hear yourself, you're just like, okay, that wasn't that bad, you know? So like practice doesn't make perfect. It just makes the content.
And
You know?
realizing that you can always edit.
Exactly.
You do a bunch of different takes, and maybe the first line is golden, and then you kind of don't just start over, just continue from where you were going and cut that part out.
Yes. I would love to take more questions. We do have to get to the next session. I love that all of you are so engaged in this, and I want to continue having this conversation. And thank you so much for being a part of this panel. Imani, Jeremy, Cassandra, you all are amazing. This was How to Tell Your HS Story, and thank you all for lending your voices and your advice. So before we wrap things up, Cassandra wants to sing for us, and I can't say no to that. I'm sorry. So we'll have to take a few minutes.
So this is something that I recently just posted. So I was like, okay, it's HS Awareness Week. What do I do? And then I was like, I just started singing random songs, and then I started like putting them into each other. So I decided, I really like Rihanna. And so I was like, I made this little parody to Rihanna's S&M. So here it is. I got HS and it's making a fool of me. Don't know what I do, the things I do, but I see pus and blood everywhere, and it hurts my body, yeah. So there's that.
Okay, we got the next Rihanna in the house, y'all. I love that. I love that. I'm so glad we took time to do that, okay? All right. So we thank you for that. Love your heart. So we are going to get started on the next session. We have the HS patient makeover, and we have a little panel, and then we are going to close things out. So we're going to take a few minutes, and then we're going to get settled and reset. So stay tuned and stay in your seats real quick for us.